time, right place, right person.
Hey Canada, it's the final month of Winterfest at Kia. We've had 30 lucky winners in November, and we're still giving away a car a day throughout December. So hurry into your nearest Kia dealer to increase your chances to win. Plus, to make your holidays perfect this season, don't make a payment till spring. The Kia Winterfest Car a Day giveaway. Imagine never having a car payment again. Offer ends January 7th.
Okay, it's getting to the end of the year. As you go into the new year and you're trying to put your New Year's resolutions together, should a plan be in force, for instance? So Jason Pereira is a senior financial consultant with IPC Investment Corporation, and you're talking about a comprehensive plan. What is a comprehensive plan?
So comprehensive planning is not just about putting together investments or insurance. Basically, depending on whose process you listen to, it should encompass at least 5 key areas. The first one is an actual written plan saying this is what you want out of life and how do we get you a savings plan in order to get you there.
And there's life goals, you mean general life goals or financial goals?
Both. So it can be something like, everybody's got the retirement goal, but then you have other goals such as buying a cottage, or basically I even have people say, look, I want to basically have X amount of dollars saved up at retirement because that's kind of like a personal goal of them. So it's whatever it means to different people.
Okay, so that's the first step.
That's the first step.
Set your goals, life and financial goals.
Exactly.
I'm writing this down.
Fair enough, good.
I don't.
And making sure that we can actually achieve that and the realistic, and then setting them on the path to save enough money to reach those goals. So that's the first step. The second step is looking at investments and basically setting them up in order to meet those goals. Not just making money for money's sake is great, but at the same time you want to basically not just have a big pile of money. You want to be able to live your life the way you want to. And basically, by tying the investments back to the financial plan, you can do that. The third step is what we call a risk management review, or what some people call just an insurance review. And it's looking at different things that can go wrong in your life. And the obvious one is what happens if you die prematurely. But then there's also issues about what happens if you become disabled, critically ill, need long-term care in your old age. Any number of different aspects. So we look at about 9 different points of risk and address what's the plan for each of these. Some of them apply to certain people, some of them don't. But basically making sure that you have a nice plan here. How do we protect that in case something goes wrong?
Okay.
Then the third stage is tax planning, which is basically, we're doing it all the way through the entire process. But it's partially an education. The biggest reaction I get from people when I start doing the tax planning module and I basically say, this is how the tax system works in Canada, it's, oh, I thought it was worse. Believe it or not, it's actually interesting. So people think that they confuse tax rates and don't understand exactly what they're paying. So we go over that and we look at what have we done to save you tax so far, and what have you done or can you do in terms of a couple of strategies to help minimize the tax bill, legally of course, and maximize your savings because of it. And then the last part of that is the estate planning, which is basically making sure that if something happens to someone or their partner or spouse, either they're incapacitated and unable to take care of themselves, or they pass away, making sure that wealth is managed properly and transferred as per their wishes. And the thing about this is most people don't have something like this. And if they do, it tends to be kind of ad hoc. They put together they've got an accountant here, they've got a lawyer here for their wills, they've got an investment guy, an insurance guy, they may not have a financial plan, they may have one, but a lot of times no one's talking to each other. And the problem is that you can make a decision in one area of your life and with one of these plans that derails another effort somewhere else.
Okay, so now if that's the comprehensive plan, what's the hardest part to put together? If I look at those 5 steps, setting the goals, setting up your investments, setting up your insurance, then do the tax planning and estate planning. Those are the 5 steps.
The financial plan is the hardest part, and it comes down to the hardest part of the financial plan, which is simply telling me where your money's going. And basically knowing what your expenditure looks like. And a lot of people the average person really, they live their lives, they try to stay within what they make, and they try to save some aside, but they don't necessarily know I'm spending X on groceries, I'm spending X on my mortgage. Those two numbers usually are a little bit easier, but then how much am I spending on entertainment every month on average? People have maybe an idea, but a lot of them just come in and say, I have no idea.
Yeah, so you know what the thing, I thought you were going to say the word budget, because as soon as you put budget in front of me, I turn off, man.
People get turned off by the entire process when they hear, I need to know where you're spending your money. They think I'm trying to tell them how to spend their money. That's not what I want. I want them to be able to spend their money however they see fit. But I need to know if them living that way is conducive with the goals that they want to achieve. So I got to know what's left over after they're done spending money the way they want to spend it. So the good news is that anyone who's actually moving forward with their financial lives is basically living within their means. So there's always a little bit something left over if you're being responsible. So the good news is that back in the day it was terrible. You used to have to like write down what you were spending and try to keep tallies of it with just paper. But now there's a lot of online free tools that will actually take information from different credit card companies and different banks and consolidate all in one place. And it's very, very easy if you just set it up right to keep track of all this.
It's setting it up right. It's the hard part. I use Quicken, for instance, and it's great. I mean, it does work. You just press a button and everything's updated. Ooh, I haven't spent that much on groceries, kind of a thing. And you get it through. Okay, now, against this background of these 5 steps, how many people actually have a comprehensive plan?
Oh, if you're dealing with me, all of them. Pretty much. The reality is that this is, the thing is that people look at planning as being a little bit onerous, and it is. And not only that, the industry is really set up more so around the product side. So selling stocks, bonds, mutual funds, insurance, whatever it might be.
Especially come the new year, RSPs too will play into that.
Absolutely, right? So it's always, the triggers always tend to be you need to buy something or invest something. Whereas planning is more so, most of the planners out there have been working mainly on either a premise of, you know what, you do this investing for me and then I'll basically give you this financial plan for free, or they'll sell the plan as a standalone business and they'll just basically send you elsewhere for everything else. And that's, really, there's a lot of disjoining with that. And what I mean by that is that someone sets up the plan, doesn't handle the investments, there's a disconnect. There could be a disagreement there. The flip side of that is if someone does the investing, how good are they necessarily going to know all the planning side of it? Not necessarily, because there's a lot of tax planning that goes into it. So the reality is that there's not a lot of, I say the vast majority of Canadians don't have this kind of setup. And when they don't have this kind of setup, they're leaving money on the table. Their tax bills are generally higher. Their investments may not be exactly targeted to what they want to achieve. There's an old saying that Yogi Berra said, it was something along the lines of, if you don't know where you're going, you'll end up somewhere else.
Right.
And this is all about setting them on the right path and using every last dollar to its full ability. Again, not me saying, here's your budget. Don't spend a penny outside of this. That's the last thing I want to do. I want to take whatever's left over and make the most of that.
Jason, good idea. Maybe I'll do it in the new year. I'll have some of it in place. His Pereira is a senior financial consultant with IPC Investment Corporation. We're going to take a quick break. Ross McLean is going to be joining us about a situation that's happening in British Columbia. And then Gina Phillips will be here as well.